Welcome to Powering Through Life on the Divas That Care Network. I'm your host, Teresa Sims, and I'm a transformational life coach, NLP practitioner, award-winning author, and also a speaker. But this is my passion, sharing stories from women who have incredible journeys in their lives and like to share their thoughts, their wisdom, and their teaching tips, of what they've learned along the way. So each week on Powering Through Life, my guests and I discuss a special topic that's close to their heart. And together we will explore the challenges that they have faced in life and learn what strategies and tools they've used to power through their life. So today I have an incredible guest with me. Her name is Carolyn Martin, or otherwise known as Coach Carolyn. Mm-hmm. And Carolyn is a health coach, a fitness nutrition specialist, a Canfitpro-certified personal trainer, a CCF life coach, and creator of Bring It Impact with confidence and conferences for youth. So basically, in a nutshell, at her core, Carolyn is an advocate for others. She helps women learn how to put themselves and their health first and shine from the inside out. And isn't that what we all need to do more of, Carolyn? Welcome, by the way.
I think so. Thank you. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm so glad we finally got to do this. This has been a bit incoming, but you know what? It's worth it, isn't it?
It is, and we get there in the end. It always works out in the end. So, yeah,
for
thanks for your patience.
Oh, no worries. That's what it's all about. And I love the topic that you've chose today of when we love ourselves first, those we love will benefit and learn.
Yes.
Does that have some significance for you, that phrase?
You know what? It has a huge amount of significance for me because I think, firstly, and a lot of women that I work with and speak with tend to have the same concern come up and these same threads come up. So I think a lot of it is based on people that I come into contact through work where they finally learn, or they're at a time in their life where they say, okay, I can put myself first. And my wish is I'd help people get to that point sooner. But I think as women, as mothers, those of us that are mothers or role models or mentors, we give, and we do. And if we don't look after ourselves first, we can't give to other people, but also we're not teaching those right habits to people that are younger than us. And that is huge for me. That whole saying, that whole line is very important to me because I think maybe we've lost that, and I'd love to try and help people get that back again.
I love that. That is so perfect because you were just describing me because I was never on the list. I was always doing for everyone else to the expense of myself, and realized that when I, got in my late 40s that, okay, now I have an injury from a car accident. I have to look after myself, and I don't know how to do that. So it's really key to teach women, number one, how to do that, how to love themselves, and how to put themselves on the list. So,
absolutely.
So what does self-love mean to you and working with your clients and teaching your clients that? And do you think it's an overused term today?
So I'll answer that part of the question first, I think, because there's a lot of people that feel that it is an overused term. And I am one of those people that don't feel it's used enough because there's no other way to term for it, I don't think, is if you are being healthy and you're being, you're doing everything, putting a lifestyle in place that includes happiness, that includes communication, that all the things that are needed in our everyday, I think you are showing love to yourself. I think if you give yourself the time, a lot of people maybe at the end of the day, everybody's got that time of day where they take some time for themselves. You're showing yourself and other people that you're important enough to put yourself in that position. So to me, self-love is very much about allowing yourself the time to put the right habits in place or the right experiences in place that either give you joy or that allow you to relax, de-stress you, that allow you to become a healthier, happier person You're totally showing yourself let's say that again. You're totally showing yourself self-love, in my estimation. And so I don't think it's an overused term. I think there's no other term for it. Love yourself first, and then sort of everything else falls into place. Your whole aura changes to other people.
I would agree. And, you know, I was just having a thought when you were talking about that, the term being overused, that maybe hearing it, and maybe we are not hearing it enough, but those that are hearing it enough, maybe it's annoying them or frustrating
Could very well be.
because they're actually not putting that into play.
Yeah, it could very well be that. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, like anything, there's differing opinions, and there's going to be some words that resonate with some over others. But I just see a lot, you know, social media is just such a big part of business anymore. And often I'll see comments that, you know, self-love so overused. And I find that a shame, because to me, it's very much, you know, what do you put in place every day to just do something for you, to put yourself first in an unselfish way, but that benefits your mind and your body and your health and your family.
Exactly. And maybe it's that lack of understanding that term that's causing,
absolutely,
you know, these harsh feelings or these misunderstandings around that term.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
well, you know what? Let's keep sharing it. Let's keep teaching people what the true definition of it really is, and then we can, you know, make a difference in this world. So how can our kids, those we love, benefit from us incorporating health and wellness into our lives every day?
That's a good question. And for me, again, it's, you know, probably a lengthy answer because I'm passionate about this, because to go back a step, I feel life has become very full for people. It's fast, it's busy, there's always something going on, whether it's to do with work or whether it's to do with things that we've said yes to, whether it's to do with having to take children here, there, and everywhere. Life has become busy. And I feel what is lost in that is also the fact that our children don't necessarily, because we're maybe tired and we're not able to put a focus on our health and wellness, our children aren't seeing us as role models in doing things, and therefore they're learning not to do things. They're learning to just sort of go through life and cope with every day. But the healthy habits aren't there. So I feel when we actually do healthy things, for instance, years ago I had a young woman come to me, a young mom, and she had her little boy was at home, hadn't gone to school yet, and she would bring him. And it was the most adorable thing, because he was tiny. He would have to get dressed in a certain tracksuit every time to come to work out, even though his mom was the one working out. And we'd be on the floor doing things, and he'd be on the floor doing his version. But this child is a really active child now, and I do put a lot of it down to the fact that his mom included him and brought him out, and that just from the get-go, that's normal for him. And I feel if we ourselves could even put 5 or 10 minutes for a walk in there, and our kids are seeing that on a daily basis, that's going to be normal to them, and perhaps it's going to sort of flow through to them too. If they can see us doing things, then they're going to, you know, take them as gospel maybe, and maybe they're going to do them as well, and it'll follow through to their kids.
Well, that's what it's all about, is teaching, right? We are the mentors, we are the teachers, we are the guides of our children, and we need to show them a good way to be healthy, happy, and fit. And if we're not doing it ourselves and we're always busy, they're just going to learn to be busy. And they're not going to learn, you know, and to turn off, like to go into that fitness realm and do the exercises with your child or do whatever, some kind of activity, turns them off of social media for a while too, which is healthy for them as well, and gives them somewhere else to focus, which is
and it's so true, because we know of all of the, this is a huge passion for me too, is bring it, because all of the problems that are occurring because, you know, people or children especially are on social media so much. They're not learning to be bored. They're not as active as perhaps we would, you know, love them to be in a perfect world. Anxiety, depression, all of these things we know about. So again, if we're putting these healthy habits in place, and I'm not even talking about just working out. If they saw us meditating, if we sat down and had dinners together, if we, got involved with more with each other, I just feel the more they see us do, if they're seeing our negative habits and copying them and going out and getting donuts for breakfast every morning and a great big drink that's full of sugar, well, they're going to copy everything else too. But if we turn that around and we at least put something in that's healthy or for our wellness, then hopefully that will dribble down too.
I think that's a great thing to do, because that is how it works, isn't it? They do emulate us. They do learn from us. And if we're not teaching them correctly, if we're not even helping ourselves, I mean, how can we help someone else, which is...
And that was going to be a point, which that's a brilliant point that you say there. And that was one that I was going to bring up too, was sometimes when I'm trying to sort of, in any workshops or speaking I do now, is if you're too busy for you and you can't, do this for you, at the end of the day, and no judgment whatsoever, we all have those days where we have no more energy in us to do anything. But if they continue on day after day after day, if you can't make the change for you, then maybe changing the focus and going, okay, I should maybe make the change for them. And then maybe that might propel the people that do find it really tough. It might just propel them to find a way to make something happen, knowing that they're also helping their kids in their future life.
Well, exactly. I mean, if you can't find a way to consciously say, I'm going to help myself, okay, maybe your children are the main focus for you right now. So
Absolutely.
You can say, I'm going to help my children by setting a better example using myself.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then, it is a snowball situation, and we need to watch that. And, it can go both ways. It can roll down a mud hill, or it can, roll smoothly.
Absolutely.
And we can teach them something effective and helpful for their futures and their future children as well. So it's nice when we get these things set in place. Like, the more we're active when we're young, the more likely we are going to be active when we're older. And that,
absolutely,
we've taught, our kids have been raised around that kind of thing, and they get to be active, and it's just a healthier way to live. And I mean, it's combined with good nutrition and, good mental health as well, which is quite key as well.
Absolutely.
Because when you do exercise a lot, you're releasing those good endorphins, which actually do help with depression and anxiety and things like that. So, and
confidence, and when kids feel, or anyone, when you feel, I was talking about this with a client today, when you're able to move more, you feel more confident and you walk a little taller. Like it translates into the everyday.
Absolutely. You wear your clothes better, you feel better, you look better, people take you more seriously, you show up 150% better, and you feel just so much better in your own skin. So that's
absolutely
key. So Carolyn, what would be the first steps for me, for example, if I wanted to get more into fitness and health, and I come to see you, what would my first step be? What would you tell me? As a person my age and with my limitations in fitness and spine damage. So we'll use that as an example, if that's okay to put you on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. My first piece of advice for people is you got to find what your capabilities are. And funnily enough, I was just speaking about this with someone this morning. You have to find out what your capabilities are, so where you're at with any kind of movement. If it's just the fitness side of things we're talking about, you've also got to, like, what time of day? I always think, lay the groundwork, because if you are doing something you like at a time you like, then you've taken those efforts out of the way and it's easier to do, and you're going to maybe continue on. Whereas if, you're thinking I'll do everything at the end of the day and that's a hard time for me, it might not happen, and then it gets pushed off. So I would be saying you're going to know your capabilities. You're going to figure out the time of day that works for you for these things, and you're going to figure out what it is you enjoy to do, what you enjoy doing. So somebody might come to me and say, yes, I want you to train me, but there might be somebody that comes to me and goes, you know what, I love dancing. So as much as I love to dance, I'm probably not a good instructor of dance to other people. So in that case, like, okay, we work on their health and wellness program. But you know what, if you go to dance, then that's what you're meant to be doing. And that's what we look at. They work with me in one capacity and they go off and do their fitness somewhere else. But I do think finding what you can do, where you're at, it's so important. Some people have injuries and either try and push themselves too much, so exacerbate those injuries, or they have injuries and they stop everything altogether. So the injury could be in the knees, but there's lots of things you can do with your upper body and with your core that you don't have to even touch your knees with. So out of fear of, and it's understandable, out of fear of not knowing what to do, but also fear of, oh, I might injure myself, a lot of people just stop if they are in that position. And it's just finding someone, and anyone. There's lots of coaches out there. There's lots of trainers out there, yoga instructors. There's lots of people that have the knowledge of what you could do, and knowing that it'll make you inside, it'll help you feel so much better. Those are, if you and I were sitting in the room together, that's what I'd be saying. What is it you like to do? What did you like to do when you were younger? What are the movements? Okay, where are you? What are these injuries that we should be looking at? And when do you like to work out? When do you like to be active? And then filling in, in between all of those, you fill in all, or you cross all the T's and dot the I's, and you create a program that is doable for you, or an instructor or a trainer would, doable for you at your level, and that you feel you could carry on with.
Because there has to be a starting point somewhere, correct? Because
always,
you talk about the things that would hold us back. So fear is one, but pain is another one. Because when you start to exercise, when you have an injury or something like that, the pain will flare at times. But you have to know the difference in the pain levels and where.
Absolutely.
Is this just a fleeting pain because I'm exercising, or have I done more damage? You need to know your body, and that's
a really good point, because say somebody comes to me, with an injury, that's the first thing I insist upon is that, if you haven't seen somebody already, see whether a medical professional who can diagnose and tell you, because I, as a fitness professional, need to know. I mean, I have my knowledge of what we do here in the gym and muscles and everything to my scope of practice, but I need to know, with the injury that you have, if I give you something, am I making it worse, or do you need to work through that pain or discomfort because it's actually helping it? And so that's where I very much work with medical professionals in that scenario, because they're the ones that can tell me, no, she needs to stay away from this exercise. She actually needs to be doing this one.
Yeah,
and that's
fantastic. That is, it's a team that you put together, an individual. So if I were to come to you,
absolutely,
you would be part of my team. So my physio would be part of it, possibly.
You're right.
My massage therapist, my doctor,
absolutely,
you, my chiropractor, whoever. But that's what you need to do, and those are my team of people that help me.
You're right.
To regain my health and my fitness levels and my happiness
You're right.
and joy ultimately. And
exactly.
And then it rolls down to my family, right? So you're very right that when we take care of ourselves in whatever capacity that may be, whether it be doing fitness or eating nutritionally, which we all should be doing anyway, but putting ourselves on the list and recognizing that we have a right to be there. We are just as right to be on that list as anyone else is on their own list. And we don't always see our own value. But
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, because, for myself, too, I've gotten a bit out of shape because of the injury to my spine. But, and I'm starting to get back to that fitness where I need to be. But, you just kind of feel the way you look, but you have to break through that and say, no, that's okay. That's just right now. I'm working towards this.
And that's huge. That's such an important point, because, again, I think you've got to, somebody who's injured might actually think, well, I'm doing this, but it's not very much. So really, what's the point? Whereas I always like to think anything is better than nothing. So you're going to do what you can. And also the meditation component and the mindfulness component. I mean, to me, all of those, mind, body, spirit, it's all so interconnected. And if one is out, then all of them are going to be affected. So, for some people, it's very much incorporating. Maybe they already have the nutrition and the activity down, but maybe they don't give themselves the time to actually have that peace and quiet. For me, mine is my bath at night. And the funny thing is I probably take longer to run the bath than I'm actually in it. I don't run a very big one because I don't want to waste water. But to me, that whole process is my meditation in the evening. That's I know the minute that I'm up there in my bedroom, making the bed or whatever, that's my whole process to calm me down at the end of the day. And it might sound silly, but that is my routine. And I just think all of these things put together, because a lot of women I talk to and work with are somewhere, let's say, on the body image issue scale. So it could be very little to, making jokes about their jiggly thighs, right up there to serious. And that's where I feel I wish I could just put my wisdom on their shoulders, in that that's not even right, that saying, but you know what I mean, in that if you were just to move a little bit in whatever capacity you can, or if you were to incorporate a health, more health into your everyday, into your life, because it's so important, then you're going to feel so much better about your body and our quality of life. We have hopefully a long lifespan, but how much of that is quality of life because we looked after ourselves now, that when our body maybe hits a challenge or we're very unwell, we know at that point we did everything we possibly could. So,
exactly.
I'm going to deal with it.
I like the way you mentioned mindfulness and meditation, because in that aspect itself, you can actually do a lot of healing of your own body through that type of meditation or that type of modality. And, learning a little bit of Reiki is a fantastic thing to do. I have my level 1. I'm not sure if you have Reiki training or not, but our dear friend Brenda Pierce is a master trainer, so I've learned from her a bit, and it actually does help. So
awesome.
It's kind of a nice little tool to have in your pocket, and
that's right.
And it's just another form that goes along with the mindfulness meditation aspect, and it's just calming. It's being quiet, and a lot of us, like you say, don't have a routine at night, because we're just so exhausted, we just fall into bed because that's what we've always done. Well, when you change that habit like you have, taking the nice hot bath. I like to go out in the hot tub just before bed. So then, same thing, nice hot water, kind of soothes everything and washes all that stress out of your body. You just feel it pulling out like a magnet, pulling something away from you. And you just sleep so much better, which, you get into that state of sleep, and you get into the scenarios of having the right amount of sleep or good sleep.
Absolutely.
Is so therapeutic for your body and your mind the next day.
Well, and that's what they're saying now, is that all this research. I did a talk very recently on sleep in the brain for an organization, because we can do we try and incorporate healthy habits into our eating. And I really want to make it clear, I am not one, I don't promote diets. I'm very much, how can we create an eating strategy that you can, this is your life. Okay, you go to an awful lot of events, you entertain an awful lot. How can we create something where you're being the healthiest you can be while still enjoying life? So that is super important. But at the same time, if you've got your healthy, eating strategy, you try and be active. If we don't have our sleep in place, that right now is, to researchers, is really the most important topic they're looking at now, because we need to get our hours of sleep at night. It has to be deep in order for the repair to go on, regeneration, all of these things. And we're going to bed sometimes, maybe having looked at the internet or social media, we're not getting that deep sleep. So we really need to make sure that's a huge component of our health as well. We need to be able to say no to people. We need to be able to go to bed at a good time and go, you know what, I'm relaxing. This is all part of the toolbox.
Yeah, exactly. Same with journaling before you go to bed, or reading a book,
or
anything that's not electronic, because electronic stimulation will disturb your sleep. And
absolutely.
Powerful,
and they say people that go to bed with their, I can't honestly remember the numbers, but it's a significant percentage of people take their phones into their bedroom with them. And when children, a lot of youth take their phones into bed, they're allowed to take their phones into the bedroom. And on average, they pick their phone up 10 times during the night. And so where is the sleep occurring? This is a whole topic I could go into as well, but it's just, these are all things that are, I love to shift it from I know health and wellness can be challenging for some people because they're just getting through every single day. So in no way am I ever judging. My thought is, how can I help shift the thinking to, I'm not going on a diet. I'm not, cutting this out because I'm trying to be healthy. It's, how can I eat to really nourish my soul? I want to eat well because I'm going to really give myself energy. And how, if I'm moving and add a bit of activity into my everyday, it's not because I'm trying to lose weight necessarily. Some people it is, but I want to do it because I want to, put a positive on it. I'm able to do this, and I want to do this, and I look forward to doing this. If the shift can be made into a big positive, that you're doing this out of self-love for you, I think that changes the whole ball game.
Absolutely. And it will get them out of just getting through the day to actually planning the day more effectively and having time left over for themselves at the end of the day to do what they want and need to do, right? So we will have to have you back for that other conversation then.
Anytime. There's a lot of conversations in here, let me tell you.
Well, how can the listeners get a hold of you, Carolyn? What's the best?
They can get a hold. That's very kind of you. I am on Instagram, and my name, whatever you call it on that, is Coach Carolyn M. M is for Martin. So it's all one word.
Well, Carolyn's email address is shinefitness74@gmail.com, and I will have all of Carolyn's listings and contact information up along with her bio on the Divas That Care network. And we lost Carolyn there just momentarily, but anyway, we will head on. So Divas, that brings to a close another great inspiring interview on Powering Through Life. And I would really like to thank my guest, Coach Carolyn Martin, for sharing her thoughts and wisdoms with our listeners today. And Divas, if you would like to connect with Carolyn, you can go to the website, www.divasthatcare.com, and click on my picture. That's Teresa Sims. And there you'll find all the links to Carolyn's information, her Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and email address. We will have all of that up there, and we will get you in touch with her. So please connect with her. She is an incredible woman who is just a dynamo and loves to help women find their shine and to just sparkle throughout their day. So Divas, thank you for listening to Powering Through Life.